You order something on Amazon, it shows up at your door 2 days later, and you barely think about it. You watch a show on Prime Video, you ask Alexa to set a timer, you sell an old phone case on the marketplace. But do you actually know how Amazon turns all of that into money? We're going to walk through the whole thing from start to finish, using examples simple enough for a 5-year-old to follow. Let's start with the simple problem Amazon was built to solve. Imagine you want to buy a toy. Normally, you would get in the car and drive to different stores, checking shelf after shelf until you found the right one. That takes time and patience, and sometimes you still come home empty handed. Amazon took millions of products and put them all in one place online, so instead of driving around town, you just open an app and type what you want. Now let's follow what actually happens when you buy something. You search for the product, you add it to your cart, you pay online with a card or a saved account. Amazon processes that order behind the scenes, then the product gets pulled off a shelf, packed, shipped, and delivered right to your door. It feels simple on your end, but every one of those steps is a small business opportunity for Amazon, and that is where the money starts to appear. Here is something a lot of people do not realize. Amazon usually does not make most of the things it sells. Thousands of companies list their products on Amazon, everything from big name brands to small factories overseas. Small businesses do the same thing, selling everything from candles to phone chargers right out of their own homes. Amazon acts like a giant marketplace that connects buyers and sellers, similar to a huge shopping center where Amazon owns the building, but other people own the stores inside it. That brings us to the first way Amazon makes money, which is simply selling products directly. Sometimes Amazon buys items in bulk from a manufacturer, stores them in a warehouse, and then sells them to you for a bit more than it paid. Think of a kid running a lemonade stand. The lemons, sugar, and cups cost $1 to buy, and the lemonade sells for $5. The $4 left over is the profit. Amazon does the same thing on a massive scale, buying products at a lower price and selling them at a higher one. The gap between what Amazon pays and what you pay is the profit. The second way Amazon makes money does not even require Amazon to own the product at all. When another business sells something on Amazon, Amazon charges that business a selling fee for the privilege of reaching all those customers. This means Amazon earns money even if it never touched, owned, or shipped the item itself. Picture a shopping mall. The mall does not sell the shoes inside the shoe store, but the shoe store still pays the mall rent every month just to have a spot there. Amazon works the same way with its sellers. Next is Amazon Prime, and this one is a favorite because it brings in steady, predictable income month after month. Customers pay a yearly or monthly fee, and in return, they get fast shipping, streaming shows and movies, music, and a handful of other perks. Millions of people pay for Prime every single month, whether they order anything or not. That steady stream of subscription money keeps flowing in no matter what, which makes it one of the most reliable parts of Amazon's income. Now let's talk about something called Fulfillment by Amazon, or FBA for short. Many sellers do not want to deal with storing boxes in their garage or driving to the post office every day. Instead, they send their products straight to Amazon's warehouses. Amazon stores the products, packs them the moment an order comes in, ships them out, and even handles customer service if something goes wrong. Amazon charges a fee for every one of those steps, so the more a seller relies on Amazon to do the work, the more Amazon earns from that seller. There is also Amazon's advertising business, and this part surprises people the most once they finally understand how it works. Brands want their products to show up first when you search for something, so they pay Amazon to place their listing at the top of the page. It works a lot like paying a grocery store for the best spot on the shelf, right at eye level where shoppers are most likely to grab it. Advertising might seem like a small piece of the puzzle, but it is actually one of the most profitable parts of the entire company, because Amazon barely has to spend anything extra to sell that ad space. Most people watching this only picture Amazon as one giant online store. It does not stop there. Amazon also runs something called Amazon Web Services, or AWS. This might be the biggest surprise on this whole list. Every website and app you use, whether it is a bank, a game, or a food delivery service, needs powerful computers running at all times to store information and keep everything working. Buying and maintaining those computers is expensive and complicated, so instead of doing it themselves, many companies simply rent computing power from Amazon. Think of it like renting a car instead of buying one. You get to use it whenever you need it. You skip the cost of owning it outright, and you only pay for what you actually use each month. That is exactly how AWS works, except instead of renting a car, companies are renting computer storage and processing power over the internet, and Amazon built one of the largest computing businesses on the planet just by offering that rental service. AWS turns out to be one of the most important parts of Amazon's entire business, and here is why. Selling physical products like toys or paper towels comes with very small profit margins, since Amazon has to pay for the item, the warehouse, and the delivery truck before it earns a single cent. Cloud computing works very differently. Once Amazon builds its data centers, renting out that computer power costs very little extra, so the profit margin is much higher, sometimes several times higher than selling physical goods. Even though AWS brings in a smaller slice of Amazon's total revenue compared to online shopping, it produces a huge share of Amazon's actual profit each year. Amazon has plenty of other ways to bring in money too, even if none of them are as large as the ones already covered. There are Kindle books, Audible audiobooks, Prime Video, and Amazon Music. There are Alexa devices, grocery stores through its purchase of Whole Foods, an online pharmacy, and even Amazon Business, which helps companies order office supplies in bulk. None of these alone brings in as much as shopping or AWS, but each one adds a little more to the pile, and together they make Amazon feel like it is everywhere at once. So why can Amazon sell things for such low prices while still making a healthy profit? A few reasons work together here. Amazon has an enormous number of customers, which means it can buy products in massive bulk and get a better price than a small store ever could. It owns huge warehouses spread across the country, so products do not have to travel very far to reach you. Its delivery network is incredibly efficient, and technology automates a lot of the sorting, packing, and shipping process, so fewer people are needed for each task. All of that adds up to lower costs, and Amazon passes some of that savings on to you while still keeping plenty for itself. This leads to what people call the flywheel effect, and it might be the smartest part of Amazon's whole strategy. More customers show up because prices are low and shipping is fast. More customers attract more sellers who want access to all those buyers. More sellers mean more products to choose from, and a wider selection attracts even more customers looking for exactly what they need. More customers lead to more sales, and more sales let Amazon lower its costs even further and improve delivery speed. Then the whole cycle repeats itself and keeps spinning faster, like a wheel that gets easier to push the more it turns, picking up speed with every single push. Of course, running all of this is not free. Amazon spends huge amounts of money on warehouses, delivery trucks, cargo planes, and the salaries of hundreds of thousands of employees who work in those warehouses and drive those trucks. It builds massive data centers to power AWS, spends heavily on packaging, and absorbs the cost every time a customer sends a product back because it did not fit or was not what they expected. Keeping a machine this large running smoothly takes real money every single day, long before any of it turns into profit. So what does all of this add up to? Amazon is not just an online store, even though that is how most people still picture it. It is really several businesses stacked together and working as one. It is an online marketplace, a retail store, a subscription service, a logistics company that moves packages across the country, an advertising company, and a cloud computing company that quietly powers a huge chunk of the internet. Every time someone shops, sells a product, runs an ad, stores items in a warehouse, subscribes to Prime, or rents computer power through Amazon, the company earns money in a slightly different way. All of those small streams flow together into one giant river of income, and that is exactly why Amazon grew into one of the largest and most valuable companies the world has ever seen.